Hello everyone, what is up? It is me, AlbyMTG, and for today's video we'll be looking at the 10 best-selling Commander 2018 cards so far. It's important to note that Commander 2018 doesn't actually come out until next month, so all the cards we're looking at today are the top pre-sale cards, the cards that people are pre-ordering to have shipped to them on the day that the Commander sets are officially released. I believe that's August 10th or August 1st, it's one of those, I believe it's August 10th, and so on those days, if you order from an online seller, then these cards will be shipped to you on that respective day where the set officially releases. And so these are the top 10 cards that people are pre-ordering. I used a bunch of different websites that allow for pre-ordering of cards like these, cards like websites like TCG Player, Card Market, and a few others as well. And then, of course, kind of figured out which 10 were the highest on the list. And then, because we can't really tell specifically because the websites don't give us exact numbers, I just put them in alphabetical order. It was the easiest way to do this. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into the video right now. Starting off here, we have Arixmethes, or the Slumbering Isle. A lot of people are really liking this card. It's just a very unique card, and I think that's part of the reason it's doing so well, is because of just how unique it is. A lot of people are going to be very excited to say that they're casting a land now with Arixmethes, and it's a very cool card, very unique card, and I think that the uniqueness is part of the reason that it's driving the pre-sales so far on it. I believe that it also has to do with the fact that this card just seems quite good. The fact that you can, in the early game, have a nice land that can, tap for 2 mana is quite good, and then in the late game you just have a 12/12, so it's pretty good. Yeah, Arixmethes, very interesting card, and a lot of people are very happy to be playing with it, or at least looking forward to playing with it. The next card we have here is BRUDICLAD Telcore Engineer. This is a card being printed in the SAHEELI deck. Creature tokens you control have haste at the beginning of combat. On your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. So this card, I think, is getting a lot of pre-orders because people want to build their own commander decks around this card specifically. The fact that it's a legendary creature means that it can be the commander of your own commander deck. You don't have to use SAHEELI as the commander for the deck, and I think a lot of people just really like this sort of an effect. Tokens is a very popular theme, but normally you see it in colors like green-white, and so having a token commander in blue-red is kind of interesting. And again, I think a lot of people are just kind of looking at this card as that's kind of interesting, and seeing that they want to start using this card just due to how I believe I'm using the word interesting for like the 4 millionth time, but just due to how interesting it really is. We don't know whether it's going to be super good yet, but there are a lot of people that really want to try playing with it. The next card we have here is Estrid's Invocation. This is an enchantment that says you may have Estrid's Invocation enter the battlefield as a copy of any enchantment you control, except it gains at the beginning of your upkeep. You may exile this enchantment. If you do, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So if you have a bunch of enchantments out, every turn you get to pick whichever enchantment is your favorite, or whichever enchantment is the best for you at the current situation, and Estrid's Invocation just becomes a copy of it, and so you essentially get 2 of that powerful enchantment. There are a lot of very expensive but powerful enchantments in a Commander, and I'm sure Estrid's Invocation is going to just be a fantastic card in Commander. The next card we have here is Forge of Heroes. This is a card that in my previous video I said it was either going to be a future Commander staple, or it was going to be the kind of card that only saw play if your Planeswalker was or if your Commander was a Planeswalker. I apologize for all the misspeakings. I just got back from F&M, so it's been a long night. And then putting a 1/1 counter if the 1/1 counters was the theme of your deck, like maybe if you're Abzan, or maybe if you're like Simic. Those are usually decks that will care about the +1/+1 counters themes. And so I said that it was either going to be just a Commander staple, or it was only going to see play in those very specific decks, and it looks like, based off of the number of people pre-ordering this card, it looks like it's just going to end up becoming a Commander staple. It could end up being differently once people actually get the chance to play with it, but based off of the pre-order numbers right now, it looks like it's going to be a future Commander staple. The next card we have here is again what appears to just end up being a future commander staple. This is GEODE Golem here. This was Cheshire Plays Games. This was his preview card, good friend of the channel. And he got to preview this very, very cool card, which allows you to do some pretty busted things if your commander is a more expensive one. For example, a lot of people were saying Progenitus would be a fun commander to run with a GEODE Golem, but even like more expensive things like Emrakul, not Emrakul the Aeon's Torn because that one's banned, but Emrakul the Promised End, there we go, that's the one I'm thinking of. You can go ahead and run that. That would be a pretty cool one to use with GEODE Golem, a very nice way to get it out early, and you would still get the cast trigger, so that's pretty neat with GEODE Golem here, and it looks like it's going to end up, a lot of people are really brewing with this card apparently, and people want to get their hands on it. The next card we have here is Lord Windgrace. This is the first time we're seeing one of the big Planeswalker commanders showing up here on this list. Of course, we would have already had the chance to see a Minotaur and Estrid, but we didn't see them on the list, so maybe that means that those two decks, the rest of the cards in those decks are good enough. People are just looking to purchase the entire deck and not just that one specific commander. Or it could mean that Lord Windgrace is, you know, just a more popular commander in comparison to the other two, and that a lot of people are looking to put together decks with Lord Windgrace. And on a similar note, it did just end up randomly working out this way due to the alphabetical order, but the next card we actually have on the list is Saheeli. And so again, same thing kind of applies with Saheeli. Are Estrid and a Minotaur the two commanders that people aren't looking to purchase, or is it just that the rest of the deck in Estrid and a Minotaur is good enough that people are looking to purchase the whole deck itself? And when it comes to the Saheeli deck and the Lord Windgrace deck, they're only looking to purchase the namesake commander. They're not actually looking to purchase the remaining 99 cards. Kind of interesting little question there that it brings up, and I'm not 100% sure. I kind of think after looking at all these deck lists that came out, I kind of think that the Minotaur and the Estrid deck lists are my favorites out of the two, and it looks like a lot of people may be agreeing with me, and that they just want to purchase the Saheeli and the Lord Windgrace without purchasing the other 99 cards in those decks. Next up we have Treasure Nabber, which does come from the Saheeli deck, and this is actually one of the most expensive cards that isn't one of the Planeswalkers right now for pre-order pricing. This card right now is about $9 to $10 depending on where you look, but Treasure Nabber is just a very cool card. Again, in a red deck, this could just end up becoming a future commander staple for all red decks. We're not 100% sure because, again, we haven't gotten the chance to play with these, but it has a very, very powerful effect, especially with all the artifacts that are running around in Commander that are producing mana, things like Soul Ring, of course, which you can see Treasure Nabber holding here in the artwork itself. And then the other one that this is like super good against is Hedron Archive, because you can steal your opponent's Hedron Archive and then sacrifice their Hedron Archive to draw the cards so that your opponent can't draw the cards. So it's just, there's a whole lot of possibilities here with Treasure Nabber, and I think a lot of people are really excited to play with it and see if it is as good as everyone's expecting it to be. And then finally, the last card we have here on the list is Xantcha, Sleeper Agent. This card, again, super unique, super interesting, sort of like Arixmethes was, and some of the other cards that we looked at on the list. There's nothing we've ever seen similar to Xantcha before, and there's a lot of people that are looking to throw together some Xantcha decks, or at least give this a try in some other decks. I think in 1v1 Commander, this card seems quite powerful. So for people that are looking to play 1v1 Commander, then Xantcha might be a good commander for you to start getting into the 1v1 kind of format of Commander instead of the multiplayer versions. And I think Xantcha, again, just a very unique card, and I think that that's really what's driving some of these pre-orders, is just how unique all these cards are. I apologize. That was not the last one on the list. The last one on the list here is Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow. Of course, Commander Ninjutsu, just a fantastic ability. I love that people are bringing, or that Wizards of the Coast brought back the Ninjutsu ability. It's just a super cool mechanic, and I'm very happy to see that it's back. This is the kind of mechanic that once you play with it a few times, you're instantly hooked to it. It's a very cool mechanic, and there's already people at my shop that were trying to throw together their ninja decks so that once YURIKO came out, they could throw together some ninjas. And I heard a lot of people talking about it tonight at FNM, and this card is just very very, very cool, and it looks like a bunch of people are also talking about it. But of course, because a bunch of people were also talking about it, this, similar to Treasure Nabber, has a pretty high pre-release price right now. This card going for about $13 to $12, depending on where you look. Some sites had it as low as 10, others had it as high as 15. So around 10, or around 12 to 13 is where you can most likely find Yuriko. But again, just a very cool card, very unique card, and brings back a much beloved mechanic here in ninjutsu, and just a very, very good choice by Wizards to bring back this mechanic, because it's just such a fun, cool mechanic. So there we go, I finally got it that time. That one was the last card, so go ahead and let me know down below in the comments what cards were you expecting to see here that you guys didn't see here. I was really expecting to see Entreat the Dead on here. I was very surprised that it didn't, but it could just mean that, again, people are looking to purchase the entire Aminatau deck instead of just purchasing that one individual card. I was certainly expecting it to be on here, but it ended up not being here, so very interesting. Go ahead and let me know down below in the comments what cards you were expecting to see that you didn't see, and of course let me know what cards in Commander 2018 you're looking forward to the most. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys here next time for another Magic the Gathering video.